Hey everybody, what's happening? I am the Admiral. On one we are just pissing off the other, we're just making them mad. Kristen, how are you? Um, there are two lives. That's effing beautiful. Can somebody pop over into one of them and tell them that we're in this one? Don't know exactly how that happened, but I could probably go over and do something about it. But what that would more than likely do is cause a some kind of a clog up here. So thank you, Kristen. Let's go over some stuff. Hey, Mittens 1970, good to see you. We're gonna go over some stuff today. This is I've never made anybody happy in the rehab community, but we're gonna revisit some of it today because my son, the captain, was talking about harm reduction today, and this is one of my favorite subjects of all time. It is also a subject that pisses off a lot of people. It's there's a mindset among people in the recovery community that it's all or nothing. You have to be completely 100% drug and alcohol free, or you failed. There's no point in going on, right? It's complete abstinence or it's failure. I just don't get that. I just don't see that. Pajama Pixie, good to see you. Goosebumps 801, what's happening? Donna, good to see you. Rolling Stone, Hope Between the Dreams, good to see you. Scooby Lee, Lumen, Stooby, what's happening? Tommy Bird, there he is. Heather, Debbie P. Yeah, we got the whole crew. Good. Pajama Pixie, it's always an honor. I'm glad that you're here. The harm reduction makes so much sense. Otherwise, it's a recipe for disaster, says Cooler by the Lake. A lot of truth to that. Hey, Virginia, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I really struggle with the all or nothing mentality, right? Hey, Ray, proud of you. Ray says I went to his first AA meeting today. You know what, brother? This is for you, man. This is for you. Ray, that's huge, man. Whether it works out for you or it doesn't, the fact that you're out doing it means you're trying to make changes, man. You got to be really, really happy about that. I know I am, man. For real. I'm proud of you, man. That's good stuff. That is really, really good stuff, Ray. Please keep it up, man. I've said many times that it's way too big. You're not going to take it home for sure. You couldn't fit it in the car. But this is something that Pop Fizz Paper, Danny. Good to see you. Glad you're here. I'm super happy with that. Felt better in my brain. I bet it does. You know. And sometimes it takes a long time, but if during the time, right, harm reduction, no guys that are drinking a fifth of bourbon a day, who probably aren't going to be quitting in the next couple of months. Sadly, that's the reality. Yeah, they drink 32 shots a day to get through the day, and at this point, there's no hope in their eyes or on the horizon. They're going to continue to drink. If we could get them to maybe cut down from that 1/5 a day to maybe a half a fifth a day, it would be huge. It would be absolutely massive. But the better solution would be to get them into a medical assisted treatment kind of a thing that really, in all honesty, is the best possible case scenario. Maybe get that person onto a benzodiazepine, because when you take somebody off of alcohol and put them onto a benzo, many times that's the first step in getting someone to phase out, that part of their life. Build T on the keyboard. Oh, come on, man. Take care of that keyboard, Pajama Pixie. That's our point of connection. What would we do without you? You got to take care of that thing. The harm reduction model also says that if you trade one drug for another and the drug you traded up for is a better trade-off, then that's a good thing. Chili Phil, how are you, man? Good to see you. There's a lot of people that really struggle with this as a concept, but let me try to run this one by you and you can tell me what you think. Let's say, just hypothetically, that you were that you were out there running and gunning and your drug of choice is tar heroin, and you're doing somewhere around that 6 gram a day thing. You go and do a spin dry, get the stuff out of your system. And when you get out, you start smoking weed, and you're doing it 4 or 5 times a day. You're smoking 2 or 3 joints. Did you trade one drug for another? You did. Yep, you did. You traded one drug that isn't going to, kill you for a drug that absolutely, the opiates on the streets today are a roulette wheel with a 60% chance of killing you every single time you throw your life on it. Would you be better off on any other substance on earth? You betcha. I don't care what you trade for. I don't care what you trade for. It will be a hell of a trade. Miranda Lee, you're funny. Look at this. Look at this. Come on now. But that is funny. No, today I wore a turtleneck because when I got up first thing this morning, man, this is not Tucson here, people. I got up first thing this morning. I was like, holy hell, it's cold down here. So I threw on a turtleneck, and then Quibble lost her mind, said, oh man, you look great in a turtleneck. And it seems to have caught on. Everybody seems to like me in a turtleneck, which is good because I bought a bunch of them. 13 months and 2 days sober. 13 months and 2 days sober. Congratulations, Chili Phil. I can't believe it's that long. You know what? We've been together a long time now. I am a flatlander now, says Rolling Stone. Oh, well, for a little bit here. Yeah. In the frozen Midwest. Yeah, I'm telling you, this morning got my attention. It was a little bit cooler than I anticipated. The harm reduction model also extends to the most controversial crap in our world. And by our world, I mean the drug world, right? The most controversial things that we can possibly talk about. That's awesome, Chili Philly says time flew. You know what? That's great. That means you're doing something right. It really does. That means you're doing something right. How about handing needles out to people who are using drugs? You like this as an idea? Providing needles to somebody so that they don't reuse needles and pass needles around. A drug addict will share a needle that they find on the ground if it's the only way they can get dope into their arm. I promise. Right? That's the reality. So 436 months, LVC. I love it. Congratulations. That is awesome. But needle exchange programs, where I am in Kansas City, Miranda, when you hand out needles to people, this is a really controversial subject. Safe injection sites, right? Clean ones at supervised injection sites, por favor. Thank you, Kristen Melinda. I think that would be a great idea. Would you like to hear a very fun statistic, boys and girls? We have never had an overdose death at a safe shooting facility on the planet. No one has ever overdosed in one of those sites that they set up for people to use drugs in safely. People are going to use drugs. If you believe for a hot second that someone walking down the street goes, hey, you remember that place that used to be the Radio Shack? They just turned it into a needle exchange program. They're giving out free needles. I'm going to become a heroin addict now that I don't have to worry about where I'm going to get works. You believe that that's happened ever? If so, you're an ignoramus. I'm sorry, but that's the truth, right? You're literally an ignoramus. Nobody has ever said, oh, since they're giving out free needles, I think I'll become a junkie. It's not how it works. It's not. But I'll tell you something. We need to do something, and we need to do something quickly. Harm reduction has to get outside of our little community to the greater community, right? We're just the victims, man. We're just the victims in this. For real. Very large corporations that screwed us over. Hey, Lisa from Jersey, good to see you. Huge corporations that got millions of people strung out on a product that they promised us was safe. The product was OxyContin. And it created an army of drug addicts who went to the streets trying to find OxyContin 80s, and they couldn't. It takes about 2 years for that kind of, knee-jerk reaction to start. But where are we at now? The street is flooded with Percocet 30s. They're not real, but they're effing everywhere. Right? They're everywhere. Ubiquitous. Anywhere you look in the United States, you can get a pill that says M30 on it. That is knocked off the Perc 30. It's not what it is. It's fentanyl. It's fentanyl and polyvinyl chloride that they use, PVC that they use to bond the stuff together. It's nothing. In some cases, they're adding xylazine to get people just a little bit higher. Tommy, I've come across a harm reduction specialist here on YouTube, and she's amazing. Can I send you her link? Yeah, absolutely, you can. The Rolling Stone says OxyContin killed my best friend. I hate it. I do too. I do too. I was being given 12 OxyContin 80s a day. Now, that's the Sackler family's drug, and they're the lowest form of humanity. They are. The Sacklers are dog crap. I can't think of anything good I want to happen to that family. Right? But that said, it was my fault I became a drug addict. It was on me. It's not the Sacklers. However, they did get filthy friggin' rich in the process. And that's a bummer, man. That really is a bummer. Captain, what are your thoughts on ketamine? I sure as hell love it. Most people, it's certainly not their cup of tea. I enjoyed the ketamine buzz. I was always somebody that liked ketamine. Ketamine is an analog of PCP. It is a heavy ass drug. We do it in very small amounts. We don't do it in the kind of doses normally, the heroic doses that tend to make people have those disassociative episodes like the K-hole experience, where you look like if you've ever taken a pair of binoculars and turned them around and looked through them the back way, and it looks like you're at the bottom of a well looking up. Well, that's the K-hole phenomenon. ASAP Lizzie says, I was not a fan. Ketamine is a hot topic lately. It is. You know why? Because it is getting into the zeitgeist. Reason being, they're using it to treat people who are struggling badly with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. This is a reality. It's being used in along the same lines as MDMA, right? Which is people are calling ecstasy. I mean, Molly, I think they call it now. It's what it used to be, ecstasy. It's methyl-dioxymethamphetamine. I've never been prescribed anything that strong. Strongest was oxycodone. 5, no history, and needed codeine cough meds for pneumonia. ASAP Lizzie, are you okay? I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, you mean when you did ketamine, you just puked. I'm sorry, I missed that. Microdosing mushrooms is another, it's a little bit different than what they're doing. The microdosing mushroom thing is a different concept, right? It's people are using this in lieu of antidepressants or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors or whatever, right? Yeah, microdosing ketamine, taking really small amounts of any of this stuff is really it's a kind of a different experience. Pajama Pixie says, I tried a guided ketamine treatment protocol, but it did zero for me. Nothing. I have heard people say the same thing. I've heard people say that it didn't go bang for them. If you're going to do a guided treatment protocol, I would recommend psilocybin. Not because I'm a huge mushroom fan, although I am, but that's not why. If you read the studies that are being done on guided treatments with psilocybin, it's absolutely remarkable. The results are so phenomenal that we're bad people for not doing it to everybody that comes back from a combat zone. For real, it's that friggin' dramatic how much it helps people. You're right. Rolling Stone says, I have enough experience with brain meds to know that one size does not fit all. You're right. Now, here's where we're at, though, right? Let me tell you what's going on in case we haven't been paying attention, right? The new trend in drugs is to throw your hands in the air and give up, right? For real. Tapping out is how it works these days. And there are states tapping out all over the United States and saying, we're going to allow this drug, and this drug, and we're going to decriminalize it. And we're not seeing fantastic results, by the way, with any place that is decriminalizing drugs. I'm not talking about weed. Don't go off on me. I'm talking about the places that are saying, if you get caught with up to an ounce of heroin or an ounce of methamphetamine or an ounce of whatever, we're not going to prosecute that. they're not having great results. They're not. What they're having is people from all over the United States who are living outside, who are homeless. I mean, if homeless people get stopped and searched routinely because if you don't have money in your pocket, that's vagrancy. If you don't have it, I can't remember what it is, $1, whatever, but that's vagrancy. And very often what homeless people get caught for is having drugs in their pocket when they get searched. So a lot of people are flocking to these places that are decriminalizing drugs, and it is creating a real problem. Check the Pacific Northwest, right? Check some of the other places where this is just unabated. San Francisco looks friggin' lovely, right? Thank you, Miss Sunrise Dawn. I appreciate that. Mayonnaise Entertainment says, harm reduction is the only way I got sober. It took a few years, but I'm alive, and I'm glad that you are. And you know what? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with any way that you get sober? I don't care how you get sober, man. For real. And if somebody tells you that you got sober the wrong way, tell them Tommy said they're an asshole, right? For real. Tell them I said so. ASAP Lizzie says, I once heard Chris Rock say if bullets cost $1,000, then most likely shootings would decline. I've heard that routine that he did. He said, we don't have a gun problem. We got a bullet problem, right? There's too many bullets. And there's definitely something to that. Yeah. Well, you know what? This is, like I've said many times here, we do a knee-jerk reaction in our country. That's what we do. We do a knee-jerk reaction. So when we're passing laws to react to something that happened 2 or 3 years ago. It's never something that, and the response is always to the umpteenth degree, right? So as an example, when the drug stuff came and doctors were writing prescriptions, oh, you have, you have falling arches, you need OxyContin. You got a hangnail, you need OxyContin. You have menstrual cramps, you need OxyContin. You've got a headache, you need Oxy. They wrote it for everything, right? Literally, they wrote it for everything. Then the laws came in and they said, you know what? We're not writing this for anything. Well, that's friggin' great. A lot of people need it. I mean, that's the reality of pain meds. There are people on planet Earth who only will have any quality of life at all if they treat pain. No getting around that. The only way that we know to do it effectively is the MU receptor. There's some other stuff you can do. You can do nerve blocks. There's other things. But the MU receptor is pretty much the gold standard for how you're going to treat pain, right? But what they did was a knee-jerk reaction. Then all of a sudden, doctors wouldn't write a prescription for OxyContin. If you went in there with a bullet wound in your chest, they'd go, well, we're going to put you on a regimen of ibuprofen and several other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. ASAP Lizzie, I don't doubt for 1 second that it was done on purpose. I don't. But it is always a knee-jerk. It's always the exact extreme to the other side. So when, regardless of the reason, and I honestly couldn't give a shit. I mean, truthfully, because it doesn't matter anymore at this point, right? We know they're crooked. We know exactly what drives all of this. But here we are. And what we went to is another extreme where everybody suffers, nobody gets anything. Well, guess what? The bowstring is now going the other direction. And now we're going to be going back to, well, you know what? The stuff on the street is so effing dangerous, right? The fentanyl that's on the street, the fake perk 30s on the street are killing everybody. And they're killing people whose only sin is that they're in pain. So they're doing the knee-jerk reaction to where we're going to be right back to where we were. And if they think this is going to help, it's not going to help. It's not. We've never done anything to make a dent. Because truthfully, we're not trying to, right? You actually have to want to make a difference, and currently nobody wants to. I'm not trying to be a bummer, and I'm not trying to be political, because I don't give a crap if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Neither side's doing squat, right? The reality is this. The reality is that we live in a world where people get high. We live in a world where the vast majority of people like to alter their consciousness. Like it or not, right? Like it or not. A lot of people having a few drinks tonight around the country. A lot of people smoking dope around the country today, right? Those are legal drugs in this country. And we abuse them. We abuse them pretty massively in this country, right? This is the reality of where we live. We are, in the United States of America, the biggest drug consumers on planet Earth. And it ain't close. There's nobody else in the running. There are people who believe that this is one of the fruits of prosperity. When you start getting enough enough people making enough money, they start looking for other thrills, right? Now, at the other end of that spectrum are people who can't make it in life. And they use, instead of looking for that thrill, they look for something that makes them forget that they're not successful or that they're not whatever. Good luck, seventh son. He says, I'm trying to get off hydromorphone thanks to a spinal cord stimulator. Hydromorphone, for those who may not know, is Dilaudid. And if you have never abused opiates, then this probably is a word that doesn't mean anything to you. If, however, your drug of choice was an opiate, uh, then you probably know what hydromorphone is, right? Dilaudid is a very, very unique drug among painkillers. For junkies, right? If drugstore cowboy, ASAP Lizzie, correct. If you have an opportunity to get whatever you want, right? If like when I told a story last night about being able to go into a pharmacy with a bag and just take whatever I want, right? I'm going for hydromorphone because it was the closest thing to heroin that I was going to get in there. That, I mean, morphine sulfate was another one that people was popular, but that's the hardest one. So I'm pulling for you, seventh. It's not an easy road in front of you. That is a tough drug, but I'm sure that you can do it. Roberta, good to see you. No, you're not late. It's fashionably, you made a fashionable entrance. Sierra Terry, appreciate that. It's I'm having a lot of fun here. I really am. I know that the clutchers of pearls just really truthfully can't handle it. But yeah, the three of us went out and had a great lunch today for his birthday. Really had a good time. We're laughing it up and hung out for a while, went shopping together and did all that afterwards. This is about as healthy as you could possibly imagine, people, whether you can believe that or not. It really is. I'm doing what I would do for any friend in the same situation. Right. And that's a fact. And do we yuck it up quite a bit? We do. Why? Because it's so much fun messing with all of the clutch, the pearl clutchers. Seven says, I have a pain pump. I can't get a doctor to take over the treatment. Reese is doing well, Roberta, but Reese is making some changes in her life and asked for help. Said, I could really use your assistance. And maybe the friendship thing is different with me than it is with other people. But if a friend of mine says I need you, I usually go. That's and she would do that for me. There is not a doubt in my mind. Thank you, tenaciously, Tina. You know what? We have a pretty cool friendship. We really do. And it's what's sad is it's just the world that we live in, right? If she had testicles, right, I would just be going to help a friend, right? But because the equipment is different, it's always going to be viewed with glasses that just make people. Well, people don't like the truth. They like a good story, right? You never want to let the truth get in the way of a great story. You know what I'm saying? So back to harm reduction. This is the world we live in. The vast majority of people in this country do alter their consciousness. It's not like it's a 20%. No, it's closer to a 20% that don't. Roberta, you know what? She is lucky to have me as a friend. That's the truth. And I'm very lucky to have her as a friend as well. And that's how friendships are supposed to be, right? Elizabeth Grundy says it restores my faith in people. Well, that's lovely. I'm glad. Thank you, Lisa. I think Lisa summed it up really well there. I appreciate that. We're going to do us. That's it. I promise. We're going to continue to do what we do. And you're right, Zelda. The world needs more friendships, and we're going to put ours on display. And for those that enjoy looking at it, I think that's awesome, right? For those that really have an appreciation of watching our unique friendship, then that's great. And for those that don't, there's always going to be those who, for whatever reason, feel the need to hate. Speaking of which, you want to hear something funny? And I'm throwing this out there just because for the amount of effort this cat puts in, he deserves a little bit of credit. I told you the story that I have a troll that's been trolling me for years, but he sent me an email tonight, like out of the blue. I haven't heard from the dude in a long time, but he sent me an email of a video I did years ago that he likes to pull out and said it's me doing drugs on the tape is what he says. It's me hitting a vape. It's me doing this one. But anyway, Kat sent it to me. The funny thing is, no, 12:06 is this is way too early in the day. 12:06 is 12:06. I get it at 12:06 without fail. No, this one came earlier tonight. But the fact that this dude's reaching out to me after 2 years, man, good for you, bro. How did that YouTube thing work out for you? Are you making a living yet? Yeah, I didn't think so, but that's all right. You know what I mean? I love the fact that 2 years later, I'm still renting space in your dome. God help us get a life. But it was worth throwing out I mean, the dude does, send me emails, every 2 or 3 months. Every once in a while, I got to throw out a, hey, how you doing? Or he might disappear. I wouldn't want him to go get a life after 2 years of doing this, for God's sake. Right. We do have a beautiful friendship, Christine Baker. We really honestly do. And it's, you know what, the world needs to be a kinder place. It's the gospel truth, man. We've become a really kind of jaded society where we crap on everything. You know what I mean? It's cool. It's cool to hate. It's cool to just be negative, right? It never used to be this way, right? It's the Eeyore method of life. You want to go outside? Yeah, probably just rain anyhow. Miserable friggin' people on this planet. Yeah, Rolling Stone. That is the guy. He is kind of wasted looking. Sadly, I think he's probably doing dope. And I mean, you'd have to be pissed for 2 years over absolutely nothing. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. What really? Here's the thing, people. Trolls are failed YouTubers. That's what they are. They're YouTubers who failed, and that's it's sorry, but that does happen. Yeah, that you pretty much nailed it. He's a very tiny. It's got a very tiny channel, and the guy looks like a pedo. Yeah, that's him or his best friend because there's only two of them. So if you didn't get him, you got the other one, Mister Mick Merkbastic. Gratitude and good vibes on the rise. I hope. I would like to believe that, Merk. I really would. I'd like to believe that. And you know something? Here's the deal. Have it start with you. No joke. If you really, then this is harm reduction for a society. Pay attention. I haven't changed the subject. This is harm reduction for a friggin' society. You want to leave the earth a better place than you found it? Then you got to do it one person at a time. Every single time you meet somebody, you got to treat them like this is the last shot I got to be a nice person. Right? This is it. This is my last shot of being kind. And you may not believe this, but I try to do that. I try to every person that I come in contact to, I try to say, you know what? I'm really going to try to be as kind as I can be. I'm going to try to go over the top with kindness because the other option is me being a dick. Right? And I did that for 46 years and I watched how it worked out. You know what it got me? 3 trips to the penitentiary. Right? Destroyed my vein system shooting drugs, sticking needles in my arms for 30 friggin' years. That's what it got me. Right? Yeah, I'm done. I'm going to go with I'm going to be kind to everybody I meet. And am I going to get burned? You bet. You bet. Trolls are usually people that were your biggest fans at one point. You get burned by them. But what do? Crawl into a hole? Somebody reached out to me a couple of days ago. We're absolutely panicked about cybersecurity and trying to set up another layer of protection to make sure that the people that we interact with online can't get at us as easily. And I think that's a great idea. If you have a virtual network, a VPN, it's probably a good thing to use, right? But here's the deal: if you're in the once that tell them to have a Coke and a smile, the kindness gene kind of went away, right? It truthfully and honestly did. It started to go away. And now, so this person that reached out was their panic mode was these people are going to get me, right? They're going to be able to get through to me. And I want to tell you something right here, right now. There are people out there that are going to try to steal your identity. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. They're going to get it for real. I mean, if they really want the effort and they're going to take it, then they're probably going to get you. If you start looking at every single thing on planet Earth that can get you, you're not going to leave your house. You're not going to talk on the phone. You're not going to surf the net. How far back into ourselves can we crawl? If the face diaper crap taught us anything, it's that we really can withdraw into ourselves like that. You give us an opportunity to be afraid of people, right? Of things, we will stay inside. We will lock our doors. We will not talk to one another, right? It did a lot of damage, people. I don't know if you feel it as acutely as I do, right? But boy, oh boy, we really yes, it's a true story, right? They can be scary. Everybody remember Jodie Foster's biggest fan? Yeah, I think we do, right? It was a cat that was a big fan of the film Taxi Driver, right? And he wanted to impress Jodie Foster, so he used a pew pew to fire some lead at a former president who was president at that time. It was the Ronald Reagan was shot by Jodie Foster's biggest fan. No, the word fan comes from the word fanatic, right? Snap calling me out on my personal safe space dweller. You know something? It's not just you, it's everybody, right? We all did this. We all did this. We all sort of pulled back in, right? And boy, oh boy, it was good for the big red button, right? YouTube was killing it. YouTube was killing it because everybody was sitting at home with nothing to do. John Hinckley Jr., correct. There's that's the spirit, says Jeremy Shelton. And he got to bite me, Jeremy, which I really enjoy. You've got to love a little back and forth. Tommy, I followed some of your advice today and it helped. Anxiety has been bad off and on lately. Today, I stopped procrastinating and did some cleaning I was putting off. Anxiety is diminished because anxiety is always caused by putting stuff off. I promise you it is. We do it so often. Procrastination leads to unbelievable amounts of stress. It really does. Procrastination is terrible. And once you start getting behind the eight ball, the fact that you haven't done it makes it even more difficult to start, right? Really, really tough. Nice. Rolling out the joy vibes I've conjured. There you go. That's what I like to hear, right? That's what I like to hear. That is how I found YouTube, oddly, but it wasn't connection until I found the boat. Well, that's kind of how it's been working, right? A lot of people found the big red button when they had nothing better to do. And at first, what do we do? Hello, Tony Suter. At first, we go to the lowest common denominator. We watch cat videos, right? And then we watch stuff that's just so bizarre that we can't believe it's out there. And then we go through like the gross, right? You do the gross phase, pimple pushers, pimple poppers, and huge infections and things that need to be lanced, right? We go through all of that crap. And then there's the different genres. And then something happens to everybody. And it's that you start to nail art videos. There you go. And then what happens is you find something that you connect to. And it's usually live, right? It's live format. And all of a sudden, the person who's talking can actually interact with you a little bit. Well, you stay in your bubble. Well, let's get you out of it. Can we? Let's get you out of that bubble, right? There are going to be some people that are going to come out and meet me in the next week or so. I'm going to drive down in some cases, and they're going to come and have a lunch with me and Quibble and some of the other fans over from the other channel. And you know what? The first one that I went to was epic. ASAP Lizzie says, that's why I can't be late. I get anxious. I get that. I get that. A Dose of Roses says, I came to YouTube to learn different hobbies and techniques. Yeah. And then what did you find, right? You find friends and things that you never think could happen. How are you going to make a relationship with somebody online that you never meet, right? It's just not how it works. I'm telling you, it's how it works, right? Every single person in my life I met through this big red button. That's no joke. Everybody in my life I met this way. And it's Jerry Schoen says you hit rock bottom when you get to the Bee Gees videos. Nonsense. Bee Gees are awesome, man. Just knocks gently and respectfully on the bubble. Kristen, I love you. I really do. Kristen's awesome, right? I love the connections. I do too. And the first time I went out to one of those and I met people, I want to tell you something, folks. For a guy that has no problem talking for really long periods of time, I don't like doing it one-on-one. I'm not a fan, right? Especially in person. As a public speaker, I would go out on stage and I would talk to 1,000 people or 400 people or whatever was in the audience, and then I would run the hell off stage, right? And honestly, the road crew, one of their biggest jobs was when they knew the last person had spent their money, right? Because you never stop talking, even when the show's over. You just keep talking into your headphones, and it's just because when you stop talking, people stop buying. But when you watch that last person buy, your road crew would come up and say, "Hey, Mr. Scoville, you got a phone call," and you would duck out of that and then fly out of there. No interaction whatsoever. So the first time I went out and I met people from the channel, my heart was in my throat. I wasn't high, right? And anytime I was in crowds of people, heroin was my best friend. It was a very uncomfortable situation. But I'll tell you something, if I hadn't done it, it might have ruined my life, because I went out to that thing, and since it has been a really beautiful experience to meet the people that I've been connecting with. Yeah, I get the nervous leg shakes. I do. I do really fantastic when it's just me talking. But when I've got to to carry on a conversation back and forth, it's not something that I'm usually up for. But it's been very different. This has been a very unique opportunity. And I'll tell you something. The subject for tonight, right? Pissing off the rehab community. I'm not popular with anybody that's into the rehab stuff. I'm not. I don't preach 12 steps. I don't preach freaking anything. And I don't tell people that they need to quit doing drugs, which really bums people out. But you know what? It's not my job to tell you you're a drug addict. I promise you, that's so above my pay grade, man. If you can figure out that someone's a drug addict this way, let me know how that works. I sure as hell can. You know? ASAP Rolling Stone says, Adi Sablizzi, not just this. I was watching when Tommy was talking about how great Coke is now. Your comment was exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, you know what? It's kind of a bummer when you know that. I mean, it's real. They definitely it's you got to get out. You got to engage. I promise you, you have got to engage. I mean, here's the thing. Be nervous. I am. Every single friggin' time I go out to meet you people, I'm nervous. I'm never walking in the cool as a cucumber. Hey, but inevitably, like when the last one we did was in Phoenix. And as you're walking into the restaurant, you walk in and you see the table and everybody's sitting there, and all of a sudden your heart's in your throat, because I'm not talking to a little glowing dot. Now I'm actually looking at people and I'm meeting people. But my God, what a buzz. My God, what a buzz. You have to get over that. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be all those things, right? You will run into me, Rocket Queen. I promise you. I'm not going to stop going around the country until I hit up all of you. I think I'm kidding, but I'm not. This connection thing is huge. And what I have found is that I set out to help people whose struggle was with drugs. But I've come to realize that the struggle is universal. And for some people, it's drugs, and for some people, but it's a lack of connection every single friggin' time. Whatever's going wrong in your life, I guarantee it that the problem is you are not connection. I mean, you're not connecting with people. We used to do it. It was such a huge part of everything that we did. We were involved in groups. We were involved in clubs. We were involved in churches. We were involved in all kinds of crap, which we just don't do anymore. Rolling Stone, I'm not sure when I'm coming to the Northeast, but I am definitely coming. I I would kind of, if I had my druthers, I'd probably show up there around September, right? September, October. That's a really fun time to be in the Northeast. I'd kind of like to see Vermont. Take some people. We got a lot of Vermonters. Might be fun to do that. ASAP Lizzie. What did I miss? Let me see. Let me back up. Do 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 do. Tell me what didn't make sense because I can't find it and it's bumming me out now. So help me out, ASAP. Tell me what was bumming you out so that I can understand it. Here I am, your rocket queen. Oh yeah. Positive Life said I used to be the most outgoing person and brought lots of people together, and now I don't recognize myself. I got lost. Yeah, there you're not alone, right? This is a lot of people. Um, wow. Harlan says, I had a Medtronic spinal stimulator. Put this last November with nothing but the sincerest, highest hopes for an effective alternative to all my meds, which unfortunately has proven very ineffective. This is something that I hear often. Harlan, I'm sorry. Um, very often people believe that it's going to be everybody thinks it's going to be a magic bullet, and more often than not, it isn't. Sadly, uh, you know what? It is hard. We definitely ASAP Lizzie makes a really interesting point, right? What happens when you have been programmed for so long to realize that drugs mean something different to us than it does to the rest of the world? You know what? I could do Boston. We could hit the whole Northeast. The nice thing about the Northeast is if we did it over the course of 14 days, we could probably hit 5 states, right? And see a bunch of people, you know? You got the Northeast is just so jam packed. I mean, you can hit 4 states, 5 states in a day. You know what? I've been there, Harlan. I've been there. I was uh I was on pain management forever. I was taking 12 OxyContin 80s a day. I had 5 preloaded syringes for breakout pain. I had morphine sulfate in a bottle that you put under your tongue. I was on so much dope all the time, and it's the stigma attached is incredible. And I was one of those people that got caught up in that. All right, now we're not giving it to you anymore. I mean, they literally, I got 30 days notice that we're taking you off all of this crap, and what we're going to put you on instead is a dose of methadone, and that wasn't going to work for me. I promise. Uh, so I ended up well, you know my story. I ended up going the other route. Going to Worcester to buy a toaster. Yeah, I ended up robbing banks and doing what I had to do to come up with the drug money. But I'm done with stigma. I'm done with being embarrassed about anything. How's that? I don't care how people look at me. I don't. I was addicted to drugs. It is a disease. Yeah, it's a disease. If the world is too stupid to understand that, doesn't mean I'm going to allow it to bum me out. 180 milligrams a day of oxy as well. Harlan, I'm sorry, but oxy's a bitch. Honestly, oxy is a terrible drug, man. Oxy is a terrible drug. It's just well, it's great for treating pain. It really is. Unfortunately, there's just a whole lot that goes along with that. Uh, and Harlan, I am of the firm belief that you should not be in pain. That's not something that you should have to live with. And the fact that you're going to have to be on those meds means you're going to be dependent on it, but it doesn't mean you're a drug addict. It doesn't. They're two different things. If you can take the medication the way it's prescribed, you're not a drug addict. Everybody hear that? If you can take it the way it's prescribed, you don't have a problem. I've never met anybody that could take it the way it was prescribed, ever. It's never been the case. It's never been the case. You know what, Harlan? I'm sorry you're struggling too, but I'm so happy that you're speaking up, man. I really am so happy that you're speaking up. And I know, you know what? There really is people. I don't know if you understand the power that there is in just hearing other people talk about something that is infecting your life so badly, right? Um, wow. Been on it now, on and off for 18 years from a motorcycle accident, which took my left leg and broke my lower back. And indeed, it is very helpful with the pain, but tolerance in social shit. Now, yeah. Um, it is very, very difficult to treat pain. If you have to treat pain for the rest of your life, you are in a really, really tough situation because the world's going to shit on you, right? For your problem. Harlan, I'll tell you something. One of the things that hopefully you're big on treating inflammation, right? What I have found through 30 years of pain management is that uh, a lot of pain management doctors don't concentrate it all on inflammation, which really is what causes most of our pain. So they'll give you a whole lot of crap, right? They give you a whole lot of crap to treat your pain, but they're not doing anything to bring down that inflammation. And if you don't, you're going to remain in pain. Harlan, it is a tough situation, man. And I do know, honest to God, I remember people. The reason that I ended up following Q with everything that cat told me to do uh, was because of a very similar situation, right? He brought me to somebody who spoke to me and said that, their habit literally was almost twice what mine was. I had never met anybody with a bigger drug habit than me. For heroin, I had never met anybody that did more heroin than me. So to meet this guy that was doing, 11 grams, 12 grams a day, I said, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, he said, yeah, but he goes, I haven't done it in 9 years. I said, how did you get clean? He said, this dude. Well, if that dude could get clean because of what Q did, then I could. That's it. Right? That's it. Sometimes just hearing words can completely change your outlook. And I know what it feels like, Harlan, to be in a shit situation and not have anybody in the world seem to be able to appreciate that. Right? Doctors think you're just looking for a high, right? You get all kinds of crap because they say it's drug seeking behavior. No shit. I'm in pain, right? I'm in pain. I'm going to seek that which takes the pain away. Absolutely. I'm on it with inflammation treatment as well. I do a lot of other physical activity and therapy, as many combined tools to try to manage. But indeed, it is very hard to remain. Yeah, to remain mentally strong is hard when the world is kicking your ass, and everybody you meet thinks you're malingering. Everybody thinks that you're just trying to get over on people, right? It's really what makes it hard is that there's such a stigma attached to your problem. People who have to treat pain really struggle. Oh wow. No, Harlan. Yeah, the I'm not at all surprised that there's a traumatic brain injury involved in the motorcycle accident. I'm not laughing at you. I have so much traumatic brain injury. It's just that I'm laughing because anytime I get into a conversation like this and somebody starts to describe what they're going through, I knew you had traumatic brain injury. It's a lock. It just happens all the time. Yeah, but yeah, you know what? Thank you, Miss Sunrise Dawn. And that's a really big deal. WP says, thank God for Quick MD, but Suboxone isn't supposed to be used for pain. Doctor just giving gabapentin, ibuprofen, and Voltaren cream. I just had 2 steroid shots a week ago. Now, here's the thing. Yes and no, right? People will tell you that Suboxone is not a fantastic painkiller. It's not, right? It's not. It's not a real opiate. Therefore, it's not great at doing what as a straight painkiller. That said, for some people, I'm one of them. I'm one of them. I treat pain with Suboxone effing beautifully, beautifully. But I'm a candidate, and you're either a candidate or you're not. And it's not difficult to find out. You start with very, very small doses, and you start to build yourself up to it. And if it takes pain away, then it's something that's going to work. A lot of people don't. Marlon, I'm glad that you popped up to say hello. I really am. Suffering in silence sucks, and that is what you're doing, right? Not anymore, man. Come here and say I'm having a bad day. Come here and tell us what's going on with this, because there are so many of us here, bro, that know what you're going through, right? For real. The number of people here who have been in the same situation of you is staggering. I can't tell you how many people that I work with who are in pain management. Harlan, I love that. Tommy, how do you feel about those treatments the second gens are getting who suffered abuse and trauma? The neck injections to reset the nervous system. I don't know enough about it. There seems to be a lot of really positive stuff happening, right? And that's usually a good sign. I don't know enough about it, and I would be really stupid if I said I think it's great or I think it's awful in either direction. I think it shows a tremendous amount of potential, and that's awesome, right? But need a small procedure for severe stenosis and pain. Doctors farting around. Yeah, that happens a lot. Well, thank you, Harlan. We're really glad that you're here, and we're really glad that you're speaking up. And remember this the next time you're in here having a bad day, right? Yes, the stellate ganglion block. And I know of a lot of people. I have read a decent amount about this. I have. I just don't know enough about it yet. But it certainly shows promise, right? It shows promise. But I've watched a lot of really incredible things that showed a lot of promise. And what ends up happening more often than not is there's a reason we continually end up back on opiates. And it's because I don't care if you believe we crawled out of a puddle or we were designed by God or whatever it is that you believe, right? But whatever it is, the mu receptor is in our body so that we can treat pain. That's why it's in there, right? So we were designed to take in the morphine molecule as a way to treat pain, right? Sadly, 3% of us are never going to be able to do that right. Right. I'm in the 3%. There are people who will abuse it or aren't in the 3%. The 3% are the people that jump off the rails, right? I'm going to rob dozens of banks to get money to buy this trash. That's different, right? That's not normal. That's not normal even among the people that abuse. That's the 3%. Those are the people that are so over the top. They're they're what you think of when you think of a heroin addict, right? That's where I was. Miss Sunrise Dawn was assaulted by an enthusiastic beagle. Well, you're lucky. The dog around here that attacks me is 7 feet tall. Dog's got legs that are like, honestly, you've never seen a dog with longer legs than Bo. And he digs me. That dog likes to, he's just a handful. When he comes in and sort of leans into you, if you're not ready for it, he'll take you down. He's a big dog. A Rolling Stone says, I have such respect for people who are living, sorry, I lost that. With people that are living in pain. I'm completely unable to tolerate physical pain. One's for all of you, for what you live through with now and how you. Yeah, you know something. It's I hear people say this a lot. You'd be really surprised what you can take until you have to take it. You would do fine. Pain sucks, but you would do fine. If it gets dumped on you, you will figure it out. Yeah, Harlan, I'm really glad you're here, man, and I'm glad that you spoke up. I mean that. I really, really mean that. Kristen says, I don't know. Been in and out of therapy my whole life, but it didn't start doing its job until the connection secret sauce got added. I think both are needed. 100%. Absolutely both are needed. Right? What we're doing right here is peer support. Peer support in conjunction with you journaling, you working on yourself, you talking to therapists, counselors. If you're a 12 stepper, you working a 12-step program, right? I'm not a 12 stepper, but I got nothing against people that take that route. I don't care what route you take, right? If you're gonna stop, sticking needles in your arms and putting tubes up your nose or whatever it is you're doing to get high, I don't care how you stop. Why would I? It's not. Look, I'm not here to say I'm the greatest guy on earth to help people get. So who gives a shit? I just want everybody to get clean, right? Who cares how, man? Kristen and Melinda, and you are so amazingly good at connection yourself. You have a gift. Boy, there's a lot of truth to that. If you've never seen her show, she's fun to watch. She really is. She's just she makes you feel like you've known her a long time. And that's not a skill most people have. It really isn't. But good stuff. Joe CPP fam says, Harlan, welcome. I love that. I do. I love that. I love it when people welcome each other to the boat. Honestly, it's the emails that I get more than any others are they just tickle me pink every time. It's people who say, "Man, I never have been anywhere where people were that nice to me. Like I got there and everybody just sort of, welcomed me and with open arms." Man, that's a buzz. I swear to you, that is a buzz. That's right, ASAP Lizzie. Popped your cherry, Harlan. Off to the races. That's right. Now you're one of us. There's no turning back. If I had a car or a reliable ride or a good doc, I would be in Methadone, thinking of taking a second strip tonight. You know what? If you have to, Debbie, do it. There's nothing wrong with that. There isn't. I'm sure that the doctors have told you that that's not an issue, right? There are times you have to. There are times you have to. Goosebump says, I learned yesterday that my dialectic behavioral training skills group 2 times a week for a couple of years is disbanding in July. Glad to have the boat. Well, we're glad to hear that. We're glad to hear you have a plan. It's awful when you lose your group. Holy crap, it's awful. I've been through that so many times in my life, and it's like getting punched in the stomach. For real. You feel like, that it's an important thing and you're really moving forward and you're working on it. And then all of a sudden the rug gets yanked out from underneath you because the group is gone. And that just sucks, Goosebump. That sucks. I understand. I really do. I understand. Jeremy Fowler, good to see you. I am well. Thank you for asking, man. Really glad you're here. Miss Sunrise Dawn sums it up. Now you're stuck with us as friends and family, Harlan. Yeah, that's how it goes down, brother. Welcome to the boat. But that is exactly how it goes down. Now you're stuck with us. Right now there's a whole crew of people there. Yeah, everyone here has a great gift at life, and we have a reason to be here. That's right. That's absolutely right. And let's be really honest, society doesn't love us. They don't, right? We're drug addicts, right? Regardless of what your problem is, right? Society doesn't like people that aren't perfect. They sure as hell didn't like me. And I mean, I gave them plenty of reason to people. I'm not one of those guys that say they didn't they were innocent. I was guilty as hell. I was guilty. We're a little crazy, but we're fun. To be sure, we are. Yeah, I love this boat. I really do. I love this boat. You are welcome, Harlan. You are welcome. That's a what a great. It's a good sentence too, isn't it? Harlan, you are welcome. You are. Zelda says, yeah, Pajama Pixie, I have fibromyalgia too. You never know when you're going to feel okay or you're going to stop making plans. Yep. And fibro's tough because it's another one of those ailments that doctors don't understand yet at all. And that causes some doctors to just simply not believe or think that patients are trying to get dope or whatever. And I can't tell you the number of people that I've been able to meet since starting the lifeboat who have fibromyalgia, but it's got to be in the hundreds and hundreds of people. And I, for one, understand how awful that stuff is because there's just so many people that have been on it. You know something, Harlan? I'm the same person. I think everybody probably more so on the lifeboat than any other place you're gonna go. This is where people are going to probably give you a lot of grace on a traumatic brain injury, right? Because they show up and listen to me, and I forget who they are all the time, right? I forget people's names, I forget everything. Thank you, Chili Phil. You know what? I really and honestly would like to believe that that's the truth, right? That's why we do what we do. We do what we do in hopes that that nobody turns out to be me. I don't want to see people end up in prison. I don't want to see people strung out on dope. I want people to realize that you don't have to spend 30 years getting high because you're afraid of 4 days of sick. I know that that sounds really, you can't imagine how bad the 4 days are. For 30 years, I could not get through that 4 days, you know? But yeah, no apologies needed. Trust me, everybody here will get that. I've been forgetting people and confusing people here for years. Uh, Yeah. Yep. 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 Hold on one second. Um, what's the difference from a social drinker and an alcoholic and a drug addict? Let's see here. Where did I? And a functional addicts are doing the same thing that us drug addicts and alcoholics are doing now. So the I think that social drinkers and alcoholics and drug addicts, regular drinkers and functional addicts are doing the same thing that us drug addicts. No, they're doing the exact same thing. Yeah, they are doing the same thing. Now I understand what you're saying. It's pretty sad to watch the number of people that are sort of sliding. We're watching a lot of people really get deep into addiction who have never struggled with it in the past. It's kind of bad. Sorry. Thank you, Harlan. That's a very cool thing to say, man. I really appreciate you saying that. Honestly, I do. Thank you. You know what? I used to struggle with compliments like that. I really did. I used to struggle with it really big time, and I don't anymore. I'm learning to take that, and it's I really appreciate you saying that. I'm proud of how far I've come. I was really messed up, and I'm proud of how far I've come. I got a long way to go. I mean, don't get it messed up. I got a long, long way to go, but I am definitely moving in the right direction every day, and that's something that I'm hella proud of. I really am. I'm hella proud of that. So I will be back tomorrow night, people. Same time. I'm going to be here in my partner's basement. Somebody asked me what part of the country I'm in. I am in Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, in the basement of Reese Quills. True story. Thank you, Goosebumps. Yeah, it is definitely. I've definitely made progress. I'm happy with where I'm at. You were that everyday normal person when you went down the wrong rabbit hole. You know what, Joe? It's I think we all start out that way, don't we? Right? Yeah, thanks you. It's I'm gonna keep moving. It looks good on me. Thank you. I'm gonna keep moving forward, man. Chili Phil, it's great to see how far you've come, right? Feels like a lot more than a year, doesn't it? But you've made incredible strides. You should be super, super proud of that. Um, there, life gets better when you remove your drug of choice. Trust me on this. Life gets better when you remove your drug of choice. You hear me? I promise you, people, I'm telling you the truth. You hear me? All righty, people. Well, I am Captain Tommy Scoville or Admiral Tommy Scoville, and I will be back tomorrow night, same time, right here. All right. No, it never will, ASAP Lizzie. It does not end. We get up every day, right? The disease doesn't go away. We just get better at coping with it. Doesn't go away. Every single day, I got to get up and I got to make sure that today is not the day that I slip and do dope again, because it'll be the end of me. I don't have one more in me. I do not have one more in me. All right, people. I will see you on the next one. Thank you, Phoenix. I feel pretty cute. How do you like that? All right, we'll see you tomorrow night, everybody. Between now and then, reach out and try to save somebody.